There's kind of two concepts of the screens you're going to be looking at. If it's a list, you'll almost always see a set of binoculars at the top of the list on a line, and that's telling you that this is a search line. You can use this to search the list. When we're working here, we're not going to get a lot of records in place, so there's not going to be a lot of information to look at. But in the real world, you're going to have lots of clients and lots of jobs and lots of stuff to look at. And the search line lets you, search those lists effectively. So we'll see there's a set of binoculars, and you click on, you put a client name in and click on the binoculars, and it'll search for the client name. And we'll look at that when we actually start getting in the system. There's a next and previous. Again, the lists are long, so they're multi-page. Standard next and previous to go to the next page, the previous page. Those are at the bottom of the screen. And if it's a very long list and you happen to have some idea of where the record is that you want to look at, you can go to a particular page. There's usually a go-to button on the bottom. Put in a page number and go to it. You always have to save your changes. Always. There's never an automatic save. Every time you change something, you have to save it. Right now, on this training system, we have a reminder turned on so that if you try to navigate away from a page without saving your data, it's going to give you a warning. In production, we probably will eventually turn that warning off because it gets very, very irritating. Because it reminds you to save even after you save, because it doesn't know whether you've changed something or not. So, but right now, we'll remind you every time when you navigate away from a page to save it. But you want to get in the habit of doing that, of saving. And again, when we start actually using the system, we'll see how that works. And you always use cancel to cancel change. So if you change a form or do something and you just want to make sure that you don't save the change, just hit cancel, and you'll cancel away from the system. So that's kind of some general navigation stuff. The beta system is basically set up. Is you'll see, if you look at your screen right now, you're going to see there's a menu list on the left-hand side of the screen, and then a large area to the right, which are the screens that you're going to actually be using. So if we switch over here to the actual system, you'll see we have the menu list on the left. These are the things you can do, and you do them over here on the right. So lists and forms and everything will come up here, and you'll always have this list of menus on the left. The items you see here are going to be set by the type of user you are. Everybody in the class right now and everybody on the training system is set up as what we call an agency manager. So you have all the rights and privileges of an agency manager, which means you get to see a lot of things that, for example, if you just do intake and you're just a client intake person, all you'll end up really seeing is the client intake part of the screen here. You won't see all the rest of these items on the menu. But since the training is going to cover pretty much everything, we're going to make sure that you get to see everything on the training system. And again, this is not real data, so it doesn't hurt that everybody gets to see everything. It's just all kind of made up stuff. But in any case, these are this side is the list of things you can do, and here's where you do them.
Excuse me, will we be given a copy of this?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Actually, as long as I have your email address, everybody will get a copy of this, an email copy of it. Actually, I think there's a printer back there if you want to print anything out. Probably do that here. So on the main menu, you have one kind of main menu on the left-hand side, and that's where you can list and add clients. So there's a client management portion to it. There's a job portion, which includes your work orders. Now, a job is a weatherization job. So for a client at a particular, with a particular residence, is going to be assigned a job for weatherization. And that one job is probably going to be accomplished by issuing multiple work orders, because there'll probably be multiple crews involved. You know, so for example, you're doing a weatherization job for a client, and you have an in-house crew go out and do the basic air sealing, you know, and caulking and cleaning things up, but you have a vendor come out and clean and tune the furnace type of thing. So maybe you're going to have 2 different work orders to do that. So a job can consist of multiple work orders. And that's all, again, managed on the main menu. You can create your crews. You define a crew off of this main menu and the personnel that you're going to be using. Again, more of interest to the financial people and the managers in the group, but by managing your crews, it'll actually gather the data and do all the information for your Davis Bacon reports for the 347, so you don't have to track all that information by hand. It allows you to do invoicing. Again, invoicing is reporting the jobs back to the state for payment. And it also allows you to do reporting of a bunch of different types. And again, we'll see, I didn't put it on here because most people won't be interested in it. But but there also is here the ability to do our reporting, and if I scroll it down, we'll see that there's also the ability to do inventory management on this primary screen here. Now, we'll also see when we go into input a client, there's a sub-menu that comes up, which is gives the client information. This is where you put in all the details for the client, where you actually create a job, and this is also where you go through the priority audit list and add all of the weatherization measures. So there'll be another sub-menu that's going to come up, and we'll see it in a few minutes, where you manage kind of that initial part of the job, where you're putting in the basic house information, and then sending somebody out to do the audit. They come back and they give you a list of measures, and you're going to input the measures that are going to actually be applied to this particular home. So with that, let's talk about the client input process.